right, everybody, welcome back tonight. Gosh,
Right.
it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday night.
And I'm way excited.
Me too.
Be here and
Right.
ooh, we've got. I just have to say, when I heard about our next guest,
Right.
I was like, "What in the world is that?" I had absolutely no idea,
Right. Yeah.
and so I needed an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
I got one. I
Good.
got one.
Good.
I got one, and we're gonna give everybody, an example of what a paragenealogist is tonight.
That's right. You heard it. Paragenealogist. Say that 3 times fast.
Paragenealogist. I did
You
it.
did it.
So that's good. And
yeah.
I'm really just excited. When I first started talking to her, our guest, I'm not gonna say her name yet.
It's a secret.
It's a secret for another couple seconds. But I was so shocked to find out that she's been doing this for years. Years and
Really?
years and
Years and years.
And she helps people
Mm-hmm.
build their family tree, helps them find lost loved ones, helps them find out their heritage.
Well, and we throw in not just genealogist, but paragenealogist. So think about that for a second and figure out what you think that is, and then we'll ask our awesome guest here to give us deep down details.
I'll give you a little bit of a hint.
Right.
Psychic gift.
Ah.
Kind of. We could say medium.
Okay. Well, it depends on who you're talking to. Sometimes mediums are claimed to be psychics. Psychics can be claimed to be mediums.
Yeah, well, there's like a clear line about what is what gift.
Right.
There's like the clairvoyant, there's the medium, there's just the future people.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know all of the...
Future people.
I
see globes and antennas.
telling the future and the past and the past lives and all that stuff. So there's like a wide range of stuff, and it's really cool to me that our next guest has taken her gift and her passion, put it together, and that's what you get. You get a paragenealogist.
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 Who knew?
Who knew? Well, now we do.
Now we do, and now all of you will know too.
Yes. So without further ado, we'd like to welcome the one, the only, Vangie Williams.
Vangie Williams.
You! Welcome, Vangie.
Hi, everybody. Hi, how are you guys?
We're doing really good, thanks. How are you?
Hey, it's Tuesday. It's almost Friday.
Right, exactly.
I love that. It's so optimistic because most,
Right.
we're not even over the hump day.
Not even, but it's almost. And if you do what my kids do, Tuesday's almost over, so it doesn't count. Wednesday's tomorrow, so it doesn't count really.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Thursday's full day, and then Friday's already there. It's already there, so really you have one day left.
Well, you know what? That's I can relate with that. And tell me if you do as well, Vangie. But when I wake up after I get up on a day and I'm done and I'm out the door, then the day is over. Because the real challenge for me is getting my butt out of bed.
Right.
So that's
always a challenge.
That's where I'm like, okay, the day is done. We're good.
Right.
So. But all right, okay. So we're gonna get to you, Vangie. We're gonna, like I said, we could go off in our little talks here and there. But I'm gonna ask you, what in the world is a paragenealogist?
Well, a paragenealogist is, like you said, a genealogist who has a little extra, as Happy Feet would say, oomph. I am an intuitive. I've always been. I do not say that I'm a psychic, but my cousins and my family have often said it was different. Like, I can go into someone's house and sit on their couch, and I'll just start knowing things.
Oh, wow.
And it's just kind of scary. It wasn't until about maybe 10 years ago where I took the knowing to another level, where I actually could understand what was being said from another place.
Oh.
And it got kind of scary the first time because it was like, wait a minute, hold up, who am I hearing here?
I know, who's talking to me?
It's like, who's talking to me? I'm not crazy,
Then you ask yourself that in a question, am I crazy?
Yeah.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
It wasn't like full sentences either. It was like bits and pieces, I give you a great example. I had a friend, Helen and Hank. Helen's dad passed away, And Helen took me to her mom's house, who I had just met. And all of a sudden, just as clear as day, why did she buy another sewing machine?
Oh,
why
geez.
did she need another ironing board? And I actually asked her, I was like, where did you buy another ironing board? And she was like, oh my God, how did you know that? And I'm like,
are you watching me?
And from that point on, it was really kind of weird because I went to his funeral and I never noticed, and it didn't really take effect until his funeral. Every time I walk into a funeral home, the lights blink. Oh. It's like, oh, did I step on a fuse or short something, And I remember her saying, you know what? Something's with this. You're kind of electric. I'm like, great, I'm electric now.
I'm electric. That song.
Electric slide.
If you take genealogy and add that to it, I could never figure out why, when I went to my great-grandmother's house in South Carolina, why I knew things, I could see things, and I could put it all together chronologically. And finally I started asking a question. The lady on the wall, that's Miss Sally. And she's like, yeah, that's my mother. I'm like, weird. But as I've gotten older, I've been tracing, I'm 45 this year. I've been tracing family trees since I was 20. And I've been going to my great-grandmother's house from age 12 through 15, 16. So if you add those years all together, I've been doing this a long time and never realized it.
Right.
And in fact, I am convinced that everybody has this ability in them. It's just a point of whether you want to acknowledge it and accept it, or are you shamed out of it? Like some religions shame you for having it.
Right.
Or
family members,
yeah.
people,
Just society in general.
Right. They think you're kooky.
Yeah, because you sound kooky.
Yeah.
Like, guess what I know?
What made me laugh was I actually went to this church here in King George, and they had a young lady, she was called the Prophet. And I'm sitting here going, oh, she's a psychic.
Oh, we should start dubbing all the psychics we know prophets.
Right?
I like it.
I guess prophet doesn't mean that anymore. And I actually said, well, you have an extra gift. Yeah, I'm the prophet of the church. I'm like, really? Now, I can't tell the future. I will say that immediately. I see into the past. Mm-hmm. That's how I work. I've never been able to see into the future. In fact, I have the worst premonitions in the world because they're so off. I get hurt off of them.
You sound like me.
I mean, if I had psychic abilities, I would know not to jump over a basket and break my toes.
Yeah.
Well, psychic abilities don't really work for yourself.
That's what people say, So if I were going to be psychic, I'm a little selfish. I would want it to be for me.
Right.
Other people I can share. Right. But, I would feel really left out.
I would too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I demand a reading every time I get one because I want to know.
Yeah, it's kind of like, wait a minute, if I'm psychic, I'm going to hit the lotto every week.
Yeah. Right. I know. Come on, help me with my gift so I can share it.
Exactly. But when you tell somebody you're an intuitive, they go, does that mean you're still a psychic? Well, I don't think I'm a psychic. Like I said, I'm intuitive. I pick up on things that most people don't. I mean, I can walk in, I'm a real estate agent as well, so I can walk into a client's house and I never sit on anyone's couch, chairs, anything if I can help it. And, just simple things like touching a cup in someone's house can tell you a lot. I've actually had clients, and this is where the intuitive comes in. I've had clients say, oh, we're just looking to downsize, and I'll touch the cup, and I'm going, you're separating? And they'll go, how did you know that? Oh, I just saw the signs. I mean, they're not really.
His face is cut out of pictures. The basic signs.
I'd like to see the response where you say, well, I touched your cup.
Yeah, I was like into this world that you would never believe. And the first thing I said when I walked up to the front steps, I touched the banister, and I went, oh my God, oh my God. My husband's like, what is wrong with you? And then touched it.
I'm so taking her to an antique store.
Touched the banister. Oh my God. And then I said, they shot the movie right here. I know where I am. And he was like, what? And then that's when she came out, so he said, the tour guide said, oh wow. Yes, and Halle Berry shot the movie Queen here, and Patrick Swayze shot North and South, and I was like, yes.
I knew it.
Kathy said Vangie.
I'm They're not even here.
Right, and Vangie, we're going to take you to an antique store. And we're just going to let you touch.
Oh,
I'm a touchy-feely person, too. I have to touch everything.
Horrible.
Oh, I bet.
I don't touch anything in antique stores.
You're like, will you pick that up and twirl it around for me?
Okay, well, we'll call you Rogue from, like, X-Men and give you some gloves.
What's really funny is if I was to tell a family member to give me, like, something they've had a long time, like their wedding ring or a pair of earrings that were handed down, I can really tell them more about the person who owned it and who they were connected to.
Oh, wow.
And it gets really cool. In fact, my neighbors down the street, when I first moved here, I don't know what possessed me to do it. I never do it for strangers because I don't want to be known as the weirdo down the street.
Right.
I took her rings and I told her about her grandmother and her great-grandmother. And for the life of me, I can't remember their names. But I told her great-grandmother's first and middle name. It was like Rosalie or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she started crying. She was like, oh my God, that's her name. I know it's Rosie something. She said, how can you do that? She said, can you see my father? And I did. I saw her father, and I described him to her, and she said, that's what my mother said. He had curly hair. He was a light-complected guy. I'm telling you, all I need is a sketch artist who can listen to me give descriptions, and I am on target.
Well, that's awesome.
But this gift can be used in several ways. I use it for my book, Broken Light Journals, A Fight for Forever. Everything in that book I saw, not everything, I would say 90%, okay, 80% of what I wrote in the book I saw happening.
You know, I was going to ask that question, too, if you had help writing these books from things that you've seen. Because they're historical romances. I mean, and the cover of the first one, it is steamy, girl. It's steamy.
This book has gone through 2 cover changes.
Well, I think you hit the good one.
Well, I'm looking at it on the screen right now, and woo-wee.
I know. I'm like, ooh, lots of skin.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I could describe Marguerite to you, Marguerite is a young, beautiful girl with this chocolate hair, but she doesn't look black and she doesn't really look white. You know, she looks like she has so many ethnic features that you just can't tell.
Right.
And for 1844, for her to basically get married one day after she meets someone is unheard of in the first place.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that's unheard of.
Right.
Well, I guess in Vegas.
But my Thomas, actually, when I'm asked, Thomas is a young Gerard Butler.
Yum.
Like pre-300, when he was like slimmer, then add 300 in there. That's an awesome guy.
Yeah, that is an awesome guy. Thank you, Vangie.
For us ladies, we need to see the visual of who we're talking about.
Yeah, so when is the movie coming out? Just saying.
Hey,
can we help you cast?
Travis got to work that in. A lot of people have asked me if I would want a movie or a made-for-TV type series. I'm telling you, a series would be perfect. Because this story goes from 1844 all the way to now.
Oh. Yeah, so I was asking her earlier how many books are going to be in the series. 10.
10 books.
10 books.
10 books.
That's a lot of books.
20 years.
I tell you what, because I get upset when I'm reading a good book and it stops at series at the third one. I'm like, there's more.
I know. What happens
Don't
next?
leave it to my imagination. I'm going to foul it up. That's a problem. Give me more.
There will be all kind of continuity errors in there. Just
oh my gosh, yeah. I'd be an editor's nightmare. All sorts of made up words.
Nightmares. If anything, it'll make your romance a little bit deeper.
Ooh.
Yes. And it's not over the top. You know, I've actually heard a couple of parents say, well, their 14-year-old read it. You know, and I'm like, ugh. You're Winford. I'm like, oh, God.
You're like, these are R people. PG-13 minimum.
14-year-olds shouldn't know about that.
It was really not that bad. I mean, for one, say like when Thomas and Marguerite were riding in the coach, I talk about how he laid his head in her lap. That's all I said. Wow, you will not believe the things that people have pictured in their head.
Oh, I tell you what.
I'll tell you, I got that picture right now.
Or the bathtub scene.
Oh!
Like that. Yes, she likes baths. In 1844, a bath was not a really easy thing to do.
Right.
So you said you see these things? Did you see the bathtub scene, like, psychically?
Intuitively.
Intuitively, sorry.
That's that 20%, you know?
20%. These kind of things as an intuitive.
Right.
Well, it's funny because
slowly
most
sinking into the tub.
The romance I got and the way people act was just from different genres of genealogy traces I've done, and it was really kind of, how do you say it was an inspiration to like touch a slave cabin and to know that like at Boone Hall the slaves weren't treated as bad as say Monticello was treated pretty good. A bad plantation. Because I haven't been to any that was scary yet. I'm afraid to go to one that might actually have a bad experience.
Well, especially if you touch things and you see things in your mind's eye, you can't just close your eyes and pretend it's not there. It's in your head already. So,
it's
like,
already there.
Right, you can't just close your eyes.
Do you feel stuff? Like, do you feel the emotions or the physical pain or discomfort or happiness?
I have actually gotten physically sick off of touching things. Especially really, really old churches or cemeteries. Oh, I hate cemeteries with a passion.
What do you feel?
Cemetery, it's a whole other thing. It's like when I walk into a cemetery, I hear whispers, and it's kind of like, okay, I don't like this at all. You know, I was telling a friend of mine. Actually, I think I told you, Carrie. I went to my great grandparents' cemetery, and I took my good camera. The first time I went in there, I came out and my camera literally was going zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm like, what is wrong with my camera? Oh my God, this is a good camera. And it never worked again. The film was overexposed, nothing worked. So I got smart. I said, well, I'm going to go to CVS. I want to get me a cheap camera.
Right.
Well, that camera broke. Nothing came out.
Stupid cameras.
The third time I went there, I said, okay, I got something for you. I'm just going to stand here. And as I stood there, I kind of knew why. I just all of a sudden said, turn around. In front of me was George and Fannie Willis. When I turned around and looked to the corner, there was another George and Fannie Willis. And I'm like, oh my God. I just found the link. It was right there the whole time. We're talking 3 different generations. I mean, like 3 generations apart. Wow. They were buried right across from each other.
That's crazy.
And I went to that was real crazy because my aunt, who was with me at the time, she passed away. She kept saying, I don't know where they're buried. I don't know where they're buried. And She said, yeah, well, you found them now. Great. So our next chore was to find where my family originally landed, across Oaks Creek down in Westmoreland County. And my aunt said, we were lost. She didn't want to admit it, but I definitely was already there. And I said, okay, well, can I try something? She said, don't try anything that I might get scared. I thought to myself, what? So I said, what do you do next but ask the defendant? So I called George Washington Willis, and I said, I need help. And the next thing I heard was, turn here. And it was like this little cut to the left, turn down to the left. And I said, he said, it's a white church, a little white church up here to your left. When you see that church, Oaks Creek is right there. My aunt looked at me and she said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And when that white church came up, she literally almost ran into a tree looking at me. Like, what did you just do? And she said, describe them. And I was like, describe them? And I was like, oh, okay. That's a new thing. Describe them. Right. And I was like, he had a slim face. He was not a dark, like a dark-skinned black person complexion, but like an Indian man dark. And then I said, he has this jet black curly, it's like long hair, but it's not long and straight. And she said, and she reached into her side of her Bible, and she pulled out a picture. She said, is this him? And I went, oh my God. That's George Washington Willis. That's who you're talking to.
Oh my gosh. Oh. See, now this is how you use it for yourself.
I would say to her, please don't tell Grandma about this. Let's keep this one to ourselves, because Grandma's already in dementia. This might send her way
put her over the top.
But it's a gift. It's a really interesting gift to use in genealogy and writing, in jobs. You want to get a secret on your boss?
Oh, yes!
His pen.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
Sit at his desk. We're going to start mailing you stuff.
We'll mail you something and have you touch it. Be like, tell me what you feel.
Yeah, my husband could never cheat on me.
Right. Right.
It's like, I'm a man's worst nightmare. If he's a cheater.
Most good women are.
But I enjoy it. I mean, when you put genealogy and having intuitive skills together, it is phenomenal the stuff you find. A tree I just finished tracing, Mr. Curry Allen down here in Piedmont, Virginia. Oh my goodness. We went 2 years it took me to trace and find the information we needed to find.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't until one of my assistants, Amy, and it just happened to be that the women in the family were Native American. And his great-great-great-grandmother, she made sure she said it loud and clear. I am Native American. I am Native American. You know, hey, that's what I am. I am Cherokee. And this woman at 90 years old had long black hair.
Wow.
I want to meet her. I so want to meet her. But I mean, we have as my daughter would say, we have a ratchet country. We just keep messing up. We don't treat anybody well.
Right.
I mean, you guys are in Utah, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, hey, how did y'all get to Utah? Y'all were pushed west too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we have to live by the Grand Canyon. Curses, land.
There's nowhere we can't look anywhere without there being tall mountains.
Yeah,
everywhere you
mountains
go.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
See, I made a mistake and drove to Utah from San Diego one time. Yeah. I took the wrong highway with a 5 in it. I kind of looked up and I was like, does that say 10 miles to Utah? Uh-oh. San Diego.
A little bit longer to go.
That's
Right.
what it does. Yeah. I love hotels, but I don't like hotels.
I don't know that I could. Yeah, I don't know that I could do it.
You know, it's like you just kind of, when I go out of town by myself, I have to keep a TV on, and I end up having to take a sleeping pill. Just so I can settle myself to get some sleep.
You know, I still sleep with my TV on.
I do too.
It's
but
scary.
that's like the kind of the hazards of ghost hunting, though.
Right.
I mean, when you start ghost hunting, you're gonna have something someday come home and say, "I'm right behind you" while you're sleeping. Lady who did that to me about a year ago.
Right.
I will never forget you.
Yeah. So yeah. Well,
luckily, all the experiences I've had with others from another dimension, as I say, it has always been positive, even life-saving.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah, I've actually had a ghost tell me, don't go this way, go the other way, and I did, and luckily, and because I listened, because he was an older ghost, I turned around and he was gone. I went home, went to bed. My grandmother called me the next morning going, "Oh my God, you're okay? Oh my God." Well, I'm like, what happened? Is it that path you cut down on all the time? A young girl got beat and raped back there. I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, 7:30 last night. I got off the bus at 7:25.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That could have been you.
Been me.
I mean, sad for the one that it was, but that could have been you.
Yeah. Oh,
it could have been me. And I told my grandmother, like, wow, I'm glad I didn't go that way. And she said, what was the hesitation? I said, I didn't go that way because the old man told me not to go that way. But when I turned around, he wasn't there. She was like, you have more guardian angels than anybody I know.
Oh, I bet.
And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Except if I had so many guardian angels, again, I would not keep breaking my bones.
It's like, where were you then, huh?
I'm like, how come they can't stop me from hurting myself? I gotta move the dresser so I don't kick the dresser again.
I think you need to move the dresser, Vangie.
Right.
Just move the dresser. Just do it.
The funny thing is, I have broken my toes on the couch. I've broken my toes on. My husband moved this thing that was holding paint chips or the paint samples over to the side so he could vacuum. I came out my closet. The toe that had just healed from breaking it on the couch, I re-broke it 5 weeks later.
Just get a boot, Vangie. A boot.
They talk about cutting my toe off, okay?
Oh, gee.
That one healed, okay? 6 weeks later, okay? I jumped over a laundry basket.
That tub?
Come on now. It's a tub. It's a giant tub. And when I hit it, my husband laughed because as soon as I hit my toe, I took a deep breath. I grabbed my pant stockings, put a pair of socks on, and I shoved it into my boot so I wouldn't have to look at it. And to this day, it is still purple. I still call the doctor on that one. Because I felt the doctor was going to think I was crazy. Again, I just happened to go anyway. Found out that apparently when I kicked the middle toe, I actually bruised the break on the little toe that was broken and caused me to be in a cast. And I'm like, oh, God.
I know. I'm checking out my toes. I'm like, oh, that would suck because there's nothing they can really do for toes.
No, they just put it in a cast to
Maybe.
protect it. Just get some steel toe boots.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have broke it as bad as I did, my whole foot turned purple.
Oh,
and that's when they knew it was a tendon. I called Travis and I was like, Travis, you won't believe this. I broke another toe.
Oh my gosh.
Do you think this is a world record for breaking toes? And this was all within like October to December.
Oh.
No.
Ow.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were talking a short span of me breaking the initial first 3. I'm like, I can't, and to break the middle toe after making a bet with everybody and saying, hey, I'm not breaking any bones in 2013. Did you break one? Yeah. I'm not good.
I'm just glad that wasn't me, because if you touch my feet, I start swinging. I get really mean, because I have like the worst, most sensitive feet ever. Like, every time. Touch it.
Never fails.
Yeah, people step on me, on my shoes. I'm like, really? Really? You're stepping on my feet right now?
After you throw them across the room.
They survive.
Well,
I didn't.
Yeah.
So.
That's why I had to say, oh, wait, I'm going to make you really laugh. What should a psychic know not to do? The doctor said, do not scratch in your cast with anything. Do not put anything in your cast.
Right.
Well, I figured, you know the plastic hangers with the big soft rubber end?
Yes,
I believe that they say hangers is the number one no-no.
And I put it down there, and I started scratching, and it broke in there. I 3 days later. The doctor looked at me and said, what part, you're an intelligent woman. How did you get this thing? I'm glad I went because this thing was starting to cut into my skin.
Oh, jeez.
So, did it that day.
Yeah, you can't lie about that one, Vangie.
I don't know how it got there.
I don't know where it came from. I think you put it there, Doc.
I
Just
think
saying.
it was there when you casted it.
It was already there.
This is premeditation on your part,
You
Doc.
do like the kids. It was just already there.
It just happened. I don't know.
Just appeared.
It just appeared. I don't know what happened. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that story.
Well, at least it wasn't the metal hanger, because the metal hangers you can, really cut yourself with, and they give bacteria. Well, Ray got his hanger taken away several times in the hospital.
And so I didn't do it again. I learned the secret. When you have a cast on your leg, just automatically take Benadryl.
Hey! Benadryl. Well, if after breaking your toes 3 times, you better learn something.
Right.
Benadryl. So that everybody who's watching, if you ever get a cast, just take Benadryl.
Right.
It'll be good.
It's not going to itch.
Benadryl.
Not going to itch.
And this is what's interesting. I realized something after all these breaks in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
I am so distracted by things that are going on in the background that is crazy.
Well, whenever you got people talking to you over here, people talking to you over there, and back here and up here.
Exactly.
You're bound to be like, what?
Pretty much. My home is like a quiet place.
Uh-huh.
Good. One thing I've done really well at is my last 4 houses we lived in, I have made sure they were clean.
Right.
I don't hear anything.
You're hugging the walls before you move in, right? You're like hugging the walls before you move in.
Touching those banisters like nobody's business.
Right. People are like, what are you doing? Yeah. I'm filling up the house.
Making sure there's nobody here.
It's good, and if there's something juicy, it's going to go in my book.
Right? Exactly.
That one's in book 6. Woo!
In fact, our very first house, someone else had started building it, and it was about 4 years into the house. I kept saying, this house is trying to kill me. Well, my final straw was October 31st. I got pneumonia. And I literally, to this very day, I cannot figure out what was my intent for going downstairs. But when I went to go downstairs, my feet, it's like something like tripped me up. It just knocked my feet from under me. And I fell back and again broke another bone. I broke my tailbone.
Oh, that's horrible.
That is the worst pain ever.
Oh, it was out of all the breaks I've had. It definitely was the worst, especially with pneumonia because you're coughing.
Oh,
if you don't know, you cough from your tailbone.
Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I would have to grab my back and try to run from myself.
I hear ya. I know that pain very well.
I look like my kids would think it's funny. They're like, I'm like, it's not funny. Oh my god! I'm like, it's not funny. But,
throwing out obscenities to everybody.
It's been an interesting life.
Yeah.
I keep saying God keeps playing these little games with me, and I'm not sure,
what the point is.
With me.
You just wonder. So is your first book out for people who are interested in reading your stuff? Because it is
definitely.
Tell us about how to get a hold of your book and when the new ones are coming out and about the generational stuff, because this is a 10 series, 10 people, 10
yeah, so
series.
Start now, because you got a long way to go.
Right, well, this is not a 3 series,
it's 10. The Broken Life Journal series is out, and you can get that in three different ways, actually. If you go to my website, vangiewilliams.com, on the far right-hand corner, you can get a free ebook copy until June 8th. And if you're interested in buying a hardback copy, you can order it from my website for $9.50. Or if you want one immediately, you can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and order it through those sites.
Oh, so they have it at Borders and Amazon?
At the websites?
Yes.
Can you get it at the Borders?
All major websites.
And can you get them at the stores? Are they on the shelves yet?
they're not on the, the problem with stores now is because they get so many of these number one artists, number one booksellers. I don't know who makes them number one, but they only put them on. They only put them in those stores if you're from a major publishing house, or if you come from a major distributor, and that would cause. I am under Aspire Publishing, but it is so unfair for small print artists to get in there. And being that I call myself a semi self-published artist, it's insane. But I think the book, personally, I think the book is doing very well by keeping it off the stores and regular brick and mortar stores. Because what people do, I've learned because I've watched them. They'll buy the book, read the book, and return the book.
Oh, for shame.
And it's like, it's not a library.
Right, exactly.
You're not renting.
Right.
Yeah, and unless they, unless you dog ear the book, I have actually seen even women on the train actually read a book and say, "Oh, I'm taking this back. I'm taking this back when I'm done, so I got to be real careful." That's like you're the type of person to go get a dress, wear it to a function, and take it back too. Because
right.
That's not normal.
Depends on how awesome the dress is, and how much it costs. If it's a lot of money and it's awesome.
Keep every book I buy, so.
Right.
But I encourage you, if you want to read it and you want to, and it's after you read it, you want to buy a copy, I hope.
Right.
You would say to me, now book one is based off of 1844. I'm in the process of writing book two. The book two is really, really deep because it spans almost 3 year period of 1860 to 1862 or 3. Okay. It depends on how I feel. As one, this is a Civil War era.
Right.
So it's a lot going into it. And, there's times I can't sleep because I'm so into character from the book.
Yeah.
But book two, just imagine a young lady riding a horse bareback, turns around and shoots her gun laying on the nape of her horse. Ooh. Isn't that hot?
That's
talented. That's hot. That's for the guys out there.
Right. Now, for our viewers, recap real quick. You do this by doing, touching objects and getting feelings of
touching objects. Yeah,
touching objects and getting feelings of what things were like in that era. And you could also do genealogy, hence, paragenealogist. But this is how you write the book. So this isn't just your imagination. Yes, some of it has to do with imagination, but this is you and what you felt and what you've seen, right?
Yes, exactly. Everything that you read in that book, when you read something like journals, it reads like you're there.
Right. Good. And I love those.
I intentionally left it that way. And I've actually had some people go, well, why would you put that in a book? I'm like, that happened. What do you want me to do? Erase it? It's like, it's that his story type thing.
Yeah.
See, we women have a her story, and then you have a his story, and then you have a their story.
Right.
I put the story. I make it what I see. And I actually had to refrain from reading the book a third time myself, because the first time it was published, it was, I think, 248 pages.
Oh, geez.
I added another 100 pages to that book the second reading.
That's a good author.
Must have some good stuff there.
Right. You can imagine the copyright office, they were not happy with me.
Too bad, so sad.
You're like, redo.
That's the same reason why I won't read Whisper again. I wrote it. I added everything I had to add in it, and I told Travis, I'm not picking it up. I'm not touching it again. But I've also had people go, oh, please write more. And I'm like, God,
you're like, I have 10 coming.
I got to get back to the main book here.
You know what? I hear that so much, though.
Whisper actually tied itself into my head.
Right.
You should have saw me. I was like a little kid. Hey, Travis, okay, so I had a dream, and I want to put it on paper. And he was like, yeah, what about it? I was like, well, it's a lady who moves into a home that she's watched all her life as if it was calling her. And when she moves into the house, she falls in love with a ghost, and, well, they consummate a little bit, and voila, she changes him to a real man. He went, wow, I like that. I'm like, it
right.
is.
And that's Whispers, right?
That is Whisper. Yeah, in fact, before I say that, I'm going to put a prelude. Don't judge me. But chapter 4, this is spicy.
Oh, yeah. Chapter 4. Everybody get your pens and pencils out. Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
Yeah.
Be anticipating it.
Right. I'm already looking forward to it.
Oh, I know. Me too. All right,
That's
Vangie.
awesome.
Well, we are wanting to take a little bit of a break here.
Right. It's break time.
It is break time. So we are going to go to break. And right after that, we're going to come back for just a split second. We're going to head on to Larry from Big Time Paranormal, give us the scoop on all the lowdown.
I've been watching his posts.
Yeah, he's good.
There's a lot of them.
He's awesome. So we're going to go to break really quick, and then we'll be right back, all right? Okay, everybody. Okay, we'll see you guys. Keep watching, stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Cami. My name is Larry Gonzalez and welcome to Big Time Paranormal. I am your host for this segment. I am so very pleased that you're here. Now, someone had made a little wager with me that I wouldn't make it past 10 weeks, and if I did, I would receive $1 for each week. So, yep. So lunch is on my friend. Thank you. I'm going to enjoy it. So, and you know who you are. So we have a lot of news to cover. And again, this is week 11. I am so honored to be here. So let's get on with some of the news. We were talking, 2-3 weeks ago about the testimonies that were going to be done for disclosure. You had people like Dr. Edgar Mitchell, who is going to be talking there, and you're going to have other people from Congress and so on. Mostly talking about, again, disclosure for the U.S. government. Other governments have already leaked out stuff. They're much more forthcoming. You've had Mexico as one of the countries that's been very open about their stuff. You've also had people in the government in Russia talking about it. Things have come out in Britain and so on. So you had what they call the I-Team former lawmakers hear testimony on UFOs. And they were saying here a few things I didn't know. That people tend to forget that back in the 1960s, there were 2 congressional hearings into the UFO question. Former President Gerald Ford was a driving force behind the hearings. So, again, the government was quite aware. There is no doubt that we are being visited. But this was from Dr. Edgar Mitchell. He also, Mitchell is a scientist and explorer, was born coincidentally in the UFO hotspot of Roswell, New Mexico. He started calling for the disclosure of U.S. government UFO files back in the mid-1990s. One of his first interviews on the subject was with the I-Team. As the 6th man to walk on the moon, he's an American icon and scientific hero with extreme contacts in the government and so on and so on. So you have a heavy hitter right there alone. Now this also had other people that were talking about their involvement with things that they've seen. They had people that were going to be testifying. They had over 40 people. And again, these are just average people that were going to be testifying. You had also, let's see, he was, okay. And so Stephen Bassett, who was the organizer of the disclosure hearing, he's a UFO lobbyist on Capitol Hill, organizing and hearing selected former members of Congress who had not taken public position on the UFO topic. Now, I was listening to Coast just the other night. Maybe some of you heard that interview with him as well. George Norrie was asking him about some of the things. Would this change anything? He basically said no. That some of the Congress people, some people in government has quietly told him that people above them have told them basically to drop it, to let it go, that it's not going to be disclosed. And they made it quite clear, keep your mouth shut. So I don't think anything's going to happen unless something dramatic happens. But at least they're trying to get the word out that average people are seeing these things in the skies. And will we have disclosure? My gut tells me no. We're not going to get it from us, from the government, the U.S. government. We're going to probably end up seeing it from Mexico or China, Russia. Someone else is going to produce and show the world something. And the U.S. government will be forced to say something then, but not until then. So that's that. The next story we have is... We have several UFO stories to go through since we just were talking about the disclosure that was talked about in the last story. This one has to do with a passenger plane involved in a near miss with a UFO over Glasgow Airport. And of course, Glasgow is in Scotland. Now, according to the report, this happens December 2nd, so it was quite a few months ago. Now the report said that at about 35,000 feet, both pilots that were flying the plane said that they had seen a UFO loom ahead. Now the UFO apparently went underneath them and it missed them by about 300 feet, which that's terribly close for an aircraft. Now, of course, the UK Airpox Board, which investigates near misses in the skies, heard the incident that had taken place at around, 35,000 feet. Of course, they're making excuses for what it could be. Instead of saying, yes, it could be a UFO, they said, well, it could be a glider that they saw. The only problem was that someone else confirmed that if it was a glider, it would still show up on radar. And whatever it was did not show up on radar. Of course, they say it could have been a balloon. But you know, these are professional pilots. I think they know the difference between a glider and a balloon. So... unfortunately, again, it's shut your mouth. Don't say nothing because you don't know what you're talking about, even though these are experienced pilots. The next story is also an interesting story. Triangular UFO sighted twice in 2 hours. Now, the first one was on the same date, April 27th. This is a highway near Pleasant Hill, Tennessee. And I'm going to make this story real short. Again, they saw this object. 2 hours later, 1,200 miles away near Denver, Colorado, witnesses said that they saw basically the same triangle aircraft or UFO in the sky. So, in 2 hours, 1,200 miles separating the two eyewitnesses, they saw the same craft. And this was testimony that came from the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON. So, again, there's something in the skies that we can't quite explain what it is. We have another story now. Instead of UFOs, we're going to go over to an interesting story about Sasquatch. A Northwest professor turns to drones in quest for Sasquatch. A Northwest anthropologist has risked his career in pursuit of what the rest of science considers a myth. Jeff Maelstrom of Idaho State University is the nation's lone academic trying to make the scientific case for Bigfoot. It's no joke. Now, he's even raised money to launch an unmanned aircraft that would scan the Northwest forest for the large hairy creature. And it would have actually special instruments to detect through the foliage of the trees. Of course, his colleagues basically say it's a waste of time. They think that he's gone crazy, that they shouldn't be looking. Now, what he's of course, the typical scientist, he has apparently a picture of Darwin in his office framed. So he's always believed in the Darwin theory. Now, his colleagues, of course, think he's crazy because Sasquatch doesn't fit into the category of Darwin, which is some of the problems I have with Darwinism. Darwinism has a lot of holes in the theory, but I'm not a scientist. I'm only there trying to figure out these things myself. Now, for the past 17 years, he's been at this. He's even taking late night jabs from David Letterman. You can imagine. Now, the reason why he's so interested in it is because back in '96, I think it was 96. Well, anyway, he was up near Walla Walla, Washington, and he happened to come across these footprints. Well, naturally, he saw them, and they didn't look like anything he had seen before. And he could tell by the way that they were stepped. You know, when you step, you have certain indentions. It's not just a flat impression. He knew that it was something different. It was something that caught his attention. And ever since then, he's been checking it out. Now, he's raised with another Bigfoot enthusiast $200,000. And they're basically using a drone, like the kind of military uses, and the project is called Falcon Project. It will be an FAA approved vehicle. The thing, like I said, will be saddled with thermal imaging equipment to penetrate the foliage. He really hopes to find evidence. Now, of course, if he doesn't, he takes the risk of people, his colleagues, saying, see, there's nothing to it, you're just crazy. But he also has made it quite clear that he's not going to allow them to say he's crazy, because he knows he's not. I really, really hope he finds something to prove, because, like I said, cryptozoology is probably the hardest thing to prove. Again, circumstantial evidence will get someone jailed, imprisoned, but in the community of cryptozoology, it doesn't mean anything unless you have a body or something like that. Physical proof. So good luck to him. Now our next story, now we're going to go from UFOs and Sasquatch and so on to talk about a little bit more of cutting edge technology. The first one is that the scientists have come up with an idea, glowing plants to light up your home. Now, last week we were talking about the sheep that they had successfully integrated the DNA of a jellyfish that glowed with sheep, which produced sheep that glowed using a black light. Well, the scientists have been trying to use basically the same ideas to integrate it into plants, with the ideas if you grow a tree that illuminates at nighttime, it could also replace street lights. Now, I'm all for that if they can actually make it work and make it bright enough. For the simple reason is that you go into some of these urban areas and you see just power lines everywhere. And it's just a huge mess. And it would actually look really nice with the trees lighting up instead of all these lights. Now, of course, there's other issues that if the tree or the bushes or whatever dies, what do you do with it? Is it toxic? These are questions that the scientists are working on right now. Apparently, they've been able to get certain things lit up at nighttime, but not bright enough yet. So if they're still working on it, this will be really interesting to see. I know they were talking about that they've been getting tobacco plants tapped to glow cellular cells. So that is something that they're going to be looking into. The next one is a graphite paint could power homes of the future. Now, this is something that is really interesting because this is... Okay, so scientists at the University of Manchester are using wafers of graphite. To make it really simple, basically what they're doing is that they're creating multiple layers of graphite, amongst other things, to create a new kind of graphite where it would actually help absorb light and so on to power a house or something like that. Now, the graphite combined with other elements that are basically as thick as an atom, so you can imagine it's very thin. They say to give a better illustration is like a book. You have one page that tells you some information, and then you have another page that gets you some information, and another. Before you know it, you have an entire book that tells the whole story or illustrates the whole thing. And that's what they're trying to do with this. They're working at that level, trying to make it work. Ultimately, they want to be able to use this technique to be able to put into paint to power your home. Also, it would basically be like smart paint, where they would be able to also allow you to change the color of your home. They love this idea because of the fact that they would love to be able to integrate it into the covers of cell phones and stuff like that, where the cell phones will be powered from the casing. So you can imagine that's going to be really interesting, especially if they could do that. I'm sure they're talking about cars and anything else, buildings, anything else. Of course, you know, it's about cleaner energy and so on. So good for them. I hope it works out. I really hope. Now the next story is a story about... Now I know that I was listening to Coast to Coast, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and they were talking about, of course, the drones that are out there, that they're anywhere from the size of a small plane down to the size of an insect, which I'm a little bit confused because of this next story. Now, I had seen some video on it. It's something the size of a small bee. It's a robotic bee. Apparently, it's about the... Let's see. It's about this high, about the size of a penny. Okay? Apparently it can fly just like a bee and be able to fly around looking for things and stuff like that. The idea that they say is to be able to get it to go into buildings where it's collapsed on earthquakes and stuff like that, looking for survivors and stuff like that. Now, what I'm confused on is that I had heard that the military had already developed this, that they were already using it to basically spy on people and so on like that, to be able to fly into their homes or into the business or governments or whatever like that. So I'm a little bit confused. Has it been developed or has it not been developed? Well, according to the article that's here, they said that the thing has been developed. The only problem is that they're having trouble landing the thing. And apparently it lands like you spray a bug in it with Raid and it hits the surface. So apparently they're having trouble with it. But again, who's telling the truth? I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical on it. But I do know that technology's there, as many of you may know. The next story is a little bit different. It's about lucid dreaming. Now, if you're not familiar with lucid dreaming is, I have to admit I've done it once, maybe twice. And lucid dreaming basically is when you're sleeping and you're dreaming, and you basically realize that you're dreaming, and you're able to take control of the dream itself and make things happen the way you want it to happen. Like I said, I've done it for sure once, maybe twice. So I know that there's others that tend to do it more often than that. Now, lucid dreaming is something that you have to condition yourself. Apparently, there's several ways to do it. Well, now a company has developed a way to do it by using a mask. The company is based in Brooklyn. It's called Big Banger Labs. Now, basically what they are doing is they've created a mask. And in the mask, they have lights that flash once you get into the REM sleep, which is where you dream. And when the lights are flashing, it actually goes into your subconscious, goes to where you're actually dreaming. And when you're actually in the dream, you'll see the lights flashing, which will let you know that you're actually dreaming. Once you reach that state, you'll be able to take control of the dream. Now, when you can do that, you can imagine you could fly, you can run, you could do whatever you want. Like I said, it's pretty interesting to see. So they apparently needed to raise money. So they advertised it on Kickstarter. They were hoping to get about $35,000 to get this project going. They raised $572,000. So a lot of people are really, really interested in it. Now, the mask costs about $95, which on one hand you might say, well, that's a lot of money. But there's also other companies that have tried it wanting a whole lot more money. So this is an interesting story. If you want to dream and take control of the dream, it's pretty trippy in the end. The next story I have, now, the last few weeks I've spoken about these 3D printers that have been used to reproduce skulls, bones, cartilages, jaw bones, and so on. Now, this story that came up, it was pretty interesting that there's some scientists have used basically a 3D printer that you can take right off the shelf. So you can go down to Staples or someone like that and buy the same thing. And what they've been able to do is they've been able to integrate calf cells, like the back of your leg, and nanoparticles of silver. The resulting antennae enable the ear to hear. So basically what they've done is they've been able to use the 3D printer to reproduce an ear with a sensor that will allow you to not only be able to hear, but you're going to be able to hear things that the normal ear could not hear. They said that with the testing they've done, they've been able to hear sounds far beyond the capability of us mere mortals. They can actually hear radio frequencies. That's how sensitive it is. So you can imagine, I don't know how old some of you are, but the old TV shows like The $6 Million Man, The Bionic Woman, even the remake of Bionic Woman, that was lovely. That technology looks like it's getting closer and closer. Last year they developed basically bionic eye. Now they have a bionic ear with the ability to be able to reproduce bones and stuff like that. The technology is getting incredibly close to actually creating someone that could be a cyborg. And I know that there are a lot of people are saying, oh, that's bad, that's bad. And there's others that are saying, well, you know, that's not so bad. We already have pacemakers for the heart. And we use artificial hearing aids to help hear, glasses to see, and so on. So, will that happen? I'm sure it's going to happen where you're going to see a cyborg within the next 50 years, if that. Anyway, that's the news for the week, and I know it's been a lot. So, off to the conventions. The conventions that we're going to talk about this week, my wife found them for me. And we are going to just cover just a few because, like I said, the news took a lot of time. This one is going to be actually, I want to cover the one from the overseas first to get it over with, because I really believe that, again, if you want to go on vacation, you should have a chance to have some time to look into this if you would love to go. The first one is actually Cornwall UFO Research Group, the longest running UFO conference in Cornwall. This is the 17th annual UFO conference on Saturday, October 12th at the Truro College Lecture Theater, also known as that building. College Road, Truro, Cornwall, and the Southwest, held in a premier locations. The doors open at 9 a.m. First talks at 9:50 a.m. finishes at 6. Now they made it quite clear that when they have the lectures talking about the UFOs, that they're going to close the doors and basically keep them closed until the speaker finishes. Once he or her finishes, then they'll go ahead and reopen the doors. So if you wanted to see a certain speaker, make sure you get there plenty of time to grab a seat, because once they begin, you won't be able to get in until they're done, and then you'll be able to get in. So that their information will be, again, at the bottom here of anything that's elsewhere. The second one is back here. This is in Florida. The Spooky Empire's Mayhem. May 24th through the 26th. This is a 3-day event. Now, this is at the 9700 International Drive, Orlando, Florida. Phone number 407-996-9700. The prices. Now, the weekend pass is $50, 50. Halloween Extreme Combo Pass, $70. Friday only, $30. Saturday only, $35. Sunday, $30. Now, they have a VIP package, which I'm sure it's everything, $199. So, again, look for the website to look for more information on that. Now, the next one is the 4th Annual Michigan Paranormal Convention, August 9th and 10th. The 4th Annual Michigan Paranormal Convention, the Upper Peninsula Paranormal Research Society in Keewatin Casino. So they're going to have this at a Native American casino. They're very proud to announce this. The 4th Annual Michigan Paranormal Convention will bring the biggest names of the paranormal industry to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan's oldest city, on August 9th and 10th. Now, some of the guests that they're going to have there is going to be, and these are just some, there's a few others. John Zaffis, you know who he is. Adam Berry, Joe Chin, Brett Griffin, Ben Henson, Dave Schrader, radio host, Amy Bruni, and Bill Murphy. So those are some of the guests. So again, go to the website. I think if you are fans of theirs, you're going to want to meet them. And that's it for the conventions. Now, before we go, we have an announcement. With the website Big Time Paranormal, and also doing this show on Worldwide Paranormal Network, also with me working anywhere between 11 to 14 hours a day at work and trying to get everything done, plus being a family man and so on, I'm finding myself getting more and more burned out. And so what I've been doing is I've been getting more help to try to ease some of that. My wife, Maria, and my daughter, Casey, has been very good about helping me with this show. So they've been getting a lot of information. That's taken a lot of pressure off of me there. The Big Time Paranormal on Facebook, I needed a little help. So I actually been keeping an eye out for several people who likes the page, who I've been watching repost some stuff. And there's one person who I am very, very glad that she has agreed to become part of Big Time Paranormal. She has a lot of experience. Her name is Julia Di Maria. I think it was probably something that was going to happen, being that her last name is Di Maria. And my wife's name is Maria, so must have been in the cards. But she has agreed to come on to help with the Facebook page. And I am so pleased that she's going to be on there. Because she's going to bring a different kind of vision as far as how she sees the paranormal. She has a lot of experience, and I really love the idea that she's going to help. And this is going to help me tremendously. Because it's actually going to benefit all of you. She has the same feelings and ideas about the paranormal field that I do. She's going to help promote conventions. She's going to be able to help with posting pictures, photos, videos, EVPs, whatever she could find. But she sees it a little bit different than I, and I love that because I don't want anyone to be a clone of me because, well, first of all, I'm kind of ugly. But I want to make sure that she wants to do this out of her own heart. And when I spoke to her yesterday on the phone, she was so excited. And I am so excited. My wife is excited. We're all excited to have her on. So, Julia, welcome to Big Time Paranormal. We're looking forward to seeing what you post and repost and repost and so on. So, remember this, everybody. You have anything that you want advertised, whether it's a show, whether it's your group, conventions, anything, books. Remember, Worldwide Paranormal Network, Big Time Paranormal, we're here for you. We are not only, well, okay, Kim and Cammy, good-looking people. I'm kind of like Shrek. But we're here to help you. So, with this, remember, today is your day. Go out and make it happen. We'll see you next week. Maybe I'll get another. See ya. Bye-bye. Thank you, Kim and Cammy. My name is Larry Gonzalez, and welcome to Big Time Paranormal. I am your host for this segment. I am so very pleased that you're here. Now, someone had made a little wager with me that I wouldn't make it past 10 weeks. And if I did, I would receive $1 for each week. So, yep. So, lunch is on my friend. Thank you. I'm going to enjoy it. So, and you know who you are. So, we have a lot of news to cover. And again, this is week 11. I am so honored to be here. So let's get on with some of the news. We were talking, 2-3 weeks ago about
That's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That's like heartbreaking.
And it's so heartbreaking because no one knows about this. You have families saying, well, yeah, we came up north and we went back down there and the family were gone. We just figured they moved to Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Baltimore. No, they didn't move anywhere. That's it. It's done.
They're just poof.
And it's poof. End of the family.
That's so sad.
It's not just individuals, it's an entire
family's gone.
Yeah.
That touches
and once in a while you'll have a child out of that family who may actually get out. And, who's going to believe that child back then that this family was murdered?
Yeah.
Well, how would they,
That's the sad thing. Sometimes you have to listen, even if it's not the norm.
Right. Right, because that obviously happened. I mean, it wasn't just one family.
Yeah, seriously.
So, I mean, that had to be known, maybe not heard or talked about. It's on the down low.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's the same thing that happened with Black Wall Street. Nobody believed that story when these 9 kids told the story about Black Wall Street and how the folks outside of this community went in and massacred the entire community.
Oh my God!
It's like, how come no one went to jail?
Well, yeah.
If you ever get a chance, look up the story of Black Wall Street. It is one of those stories where you go, wow, the entire community was massacred.
Oh,
and this was in like 1944, I believe.
Oh, geez. So it wasn't like 1800s. It was like
more recent.
Right, like my grandparents' time.
Yeah.
And even maybe my parents weren't born then, but
And this was one of the first American Black communities that was completely self-sufficient. Every dollar that went into that community stayed in that community, and they grew in wealth.
So, Vangie, when you go into these areas, I mean, do you get, like, impressions just coming at you like crazy? Keep your hands in your pocket?
In fact, my cousin, I have a cousin who's the same way. She and I were invited to come up to, I believe it's Maine, to come to the Harriet Tubman conference.
Oh.
And we're like, what the heck is a Harriet Tubman conference? So she's getting more details, but one of the things they're trying to pull in are people who are genealogists and who have a bit of a psychic connection. And they're trying to piece together the Underground Railroad and what it was truly like.
Oh, wow. Can you imagine going down there and touching those walls?
That'd be cool.
I actually have the Underground Railroad trail, and I keep saying it's one of my life goals is to travel the entire Underground Railroad, each of the different paths, to see what I can see, because so many families escaped into Canada, that, they got up there, and most of them, find out Canadian history is even more scarier. Most people did not make it across the river.
Yeah.
And Lake Erie to Canada. They died. Whole families.
I had a dream once. It was like this reoccurring dream when I was a kid. And it was me, like, crawling in a tunnel from a house to a barn. And somebody once told me that it was because I was traveling the Underground Railroad thingy.
Totally could be.
I know. I'm like, that'd be cool.
Right? You could be.
But it was weird. It was like somebody was chasing me, but nobody was after me at that moment.
But you were still running.
But yeah, and it was scary. I was like, ah! And we were crawling. Well, yeah, it was dark. Pitch dark. Crawling.
Oh, my God.
It was a scary dream for a kid.
Right.
I would love to have been back in that time. And same thing with Nazi Germany. I actually did a reading for a lady, wow, it was at least 25 years ago. And she was like, I need you to tell me something. Did any of my cousins, did anyone survive? And I was like, I don't know I can do this. This is kind of big.
Yeah,
and she gave me the brooch that she had found at her old house after the war. she gave it to me, and it was so much heartache and pain. And I was like, I don't see anybody. She was like, I feared that. She was told by the Nazis that they exterminated the men first, and that all of the women were done shortly thereafter. The only reason why she did not die is because she was really beautiful, and they used her as a prostitute.
Oh.
For the Nazi soldiers.
Nasty.
And I was like,
poor thing.
I never heard that in
Terrible.
history.
Right, I'm taken back.
Yes.
Right, I'm like,
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
I haven't.
I heard of that a lot. They did that a lot.
Well, when she said she's beautiful, I'm like, well, and what does that have to do with it? I mean, it makes sense because people are sick and twisted no matter where you're at.
She looked less Jewish than her relatives because she had light blonde hair and she was really, she didn't have the features they call Jewish.
Right.
And she worked in a slum, and that's what her job was. And I was surprised that that's what I saw. But it was even more surprising is that several of the soldiers fell in love with her, and that's the only reason why she survived.
Wow.
The power of love.
I just can totally say that.
As my professor called it, the power of the coochie.
Can we say that on TV?
Yes, we can. I stamped approval.
She was Beyonce in their day.
Right.
That's awesome. I guess when you're a romance novelist, you can say anything.
Right.
Anything.
Well, and if you're Cammy and Kathy, you can say anything too.
Well, yeah. And I heard when you get 60, you can say anything as well.
Oh, I'm waiting.
I know. I asked a lady, she said, I'm 60 and I could say whatever because she was just a really big grouch that day. And I was like, well, I'm almost 35. Can I? She says, no. I'm like, what? She's like, you got 20,
She told you no?
Yeah. She did.
I disagree.
Well, it was like a rites of passage. You have to earn your right to be blunt.
I'm pretty sure
I'm like, maybe that's why nobody likes me.
Just me and you, kid. It's just us.
I'm not 60 yet, so my bluntness is not accepted.
That explains a lot for both of us.
I know. Oh, well.
You either love us or you hate us.
Yeah, that's how it is. Just kidding, we're loved.
Right.
Power of love.
Power of love.
All right, so Vangie, tell us, one more time, where you can go to get your books.
Go to VangieWilliams.com. You can go on there. You can get the free copies of the ebooks. And if you want a hard copy, you can go to any of the major bookstores online. Or you can go to my website and you can get an autographed copy through my website.
I want an autographed copy.
That's where I'm going. I'm going for the autographed copy. It's up on our screen right now. I'm sorry.
If anyone wants to contact me, they can definitely, if you want a media interview or what have you, you can go through Travis Short of Inspire Communication.
Right.
Also listed on my website, as well as on Facebook, Vangie Williams. I'm on Facebook, Twitter,
all the social media outlets.
Right, all the social media.
And they're on your, you have a link on your website too, right, to all those?
Yes.
Okay, good, because we have your website up right now on screen. Everybody can see. And also your book cover, which is, Steamy. And Whisper. I mean, how often are you going to fall in love with a ghost and make him human again? Right. Like, physically? I know.
Hey,
like, I can touch
you. You see a ghost in your house and then you make love to your ghost.
Woo!
Yeah. That's a whole new meaning to getting inside of you.
That's electrifying.
I'm loving Vangie here.
Someone actually emailed me the other day and she said, well, see, now you raised an interesting point. Can a ghost see you whatever you do?
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, yeah, I would think so. Really? So if I'm taking a shower, ghosts can watch me. You need to read this book.
That's right. You need to read the book to find out.
It depends on your perspective if it's going to be a romance or a horror.
It is definitely a fan.
Okay, well,
All day and some more.
All day and some more. That's awesome.
And not like, have you ever seen the movie The Others?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For the first few hours, I'm kind of like sat there horrified, waiting for something scary to happen. And then all of a sudden, I figured it out. I'm like, oh man, there it goes.
I totally didn't even figure it
out.
out.
That man said, what are you talking about? They're not ghosts. I'm like, yes, they are. That's why she keeps closing the doors. Because people move in. Oh my God. I was like, you can't watch this movie no more. Oh, come on.
I think that one got me just like The Sixth Sense.
Right, Sixth Sense in that one, I'm usually a buzzkill. I'm a joy kill. I'm like, oh, I already know the ending. This is bleh. Whatever. And
I saw it a mile away.
Right, I've seen this coming. However, that and The Sixth Sense really made me go, huh, you know what, did I miss something?
Then you had to go back and rewatch it so that you could see all the signs.
And apparently, like, Mama, where one of our friends' thought processes in Mama was that little girl wasn't really even alive.
She was, though. Because I watched it again. Because,
Did
you know, the doctors run tests on her. You can't run tests on a ghost.
You can't run tests on a ghost. Well, apparently, if you can bring it back to life and be their lover, you can.
The world is full of possibilities suddenly.
All new theories are coming to light.
And all the impossible
WWPN.
is possible.
You've seen it for your first, right?
Right. You saw it here first. Don't forget. All right, Vangie. Thank you for being our guest tonight. I want to get you back on another time when I want to follow your progress and all the things that you're doing. And everything like that.
Oh yeah,
so.
we want to send you stuff and have you touch it.
Yeah, we're gonna send you something. I'm sure. I know it. I'll send it to Travis. Hey, so if it crosses hands from one person to another, does that like
mess up the link
at all? Yeah.
I don't think it would, because she reads back in like way back history. But yeah, does it mess it up? I mean,
if you like pass from hand to hand, does it mess up like your reading?
I think you can. I mean, I believe I can. I've done it. I don't like touching people.
People are icky.
Germs.
It's like you touch a guy and you go, ew, God. So, you know, the time when I didn't date until I was like in my 20s there.
Boys have cuties.
You were getting the boy cooties.
That's right. So, I mean, can you read, like, if I were to touch something and then Cammie were to touch something and then she would send it to Travis, would you be able to, like, go back through each one of us, or is it just something that's, like, not really played with a whole lot?
It has to be something really personal.
So it doesn't work if it's just something, so I couldn't go pick up a rock and send that to you?
So if it buzzes?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Okay, so it has to be, like, personal, like a lock of hair.
I have to, it could be
meaningful.
An earring, it could be a piece of jewelry, mainly jewelry that's on your left hand. Even like a wedding ring is really good because it actually goes to your heart.
Right.
Yes, it does.
That touches every sense of your body. That's the best thing I love to get. Earrings, brooches, even clothing. I've actually had people send clothing.
Wow.
To say this was her sweater. You know, I've tried to get in missing persons cases.
I was just gonna ask that.
They don't like to let you hold stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I've volunteered a couple of times, but they've never called me, so I kind of figure they probably, again, think we're crazy.
Right.
So, you know, you try to go about it. If you get a gut feeling, you just kind of go into an area and look. And thankfully, I've never found the body.
Thankfully, oh my gosh.
Jeez.
That would probably just ruin me.
Yeah.
You know, but hopefully one day we can all converge and I can just do a person-to-person reading because each person is different. I've actually found people who are kin to me that way. So
wow.
Well, we'll keep tabs on you, and definitely, you know, I'm looking forward to the books. Chapter 4.
Right, chapter 4.
I was told I have 4-itis. Chapter 4 is in my book. All tends to be spicy.
4-itis.
It's not 3. It's not 6. It's
4-itis. All right, Vangie, we're gonna wrap it up here, and we're gonna talk. I guess, God, we have some pretty good guests coming up on our shows next few weeks.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. So next week, we have, get this, the Pennhurst Paranormal Association team.
Right.
We got a few of them coming on. This place is, like, amazing. If you guys look up Pennhurst Asylum, and you'll see so much stuff.
There's so
about
many
that area.
buildings.
There's, like, it was an insane asylum. People would send their, insane or handicapped family members.
Considered insane back then.
Right. Handicapped, insane, whatever members of their family there, and they would just kind of leave them there. I mean, there's just, like, a huge, long history of this. And now the owners have converted one of the buildings into a haunted house. It's like a haunted attraction. And they have all kind of paranormal happenings going on. I mean, like, crazy stuff like, I don't know, sledgehammers being thrown at people. I mean, seriously.
There's a lot
like crazy active
on the
stuff
web about that.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And I think I watched a tour once.
Yeah, they do tours out of the place. And
yeah, and it was neat. I love the history stuff.
Well, that area was completely self-contained. It even has its own like power station.
Yeah,
I mean,
its own garden. It had it was
own store because they weren't
had its own
acceptable in society. Right. Yeah. So they just kind of had it there.
Their own little world inside the world.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. That's kind of something we can relate to because of our asylum here.
Right.
And it's being haunted and everything.
Right.
So we
kind of history.
Yeah, and the history and everything. So we can relate with them. So that'll be a really good time.
That's going to be fun.
Right. And then the week following that, we've got Grant Wilson coming on.
Exactly.
Grant Wilson.
Who?
Grant Wilson.
For those of you who don't know who he is a paranormal investigator. He is just a phenomenal person. In case you didn't know, he was on this little TV show called Ghost Hunters.
Right. For
a long time.
Left about 2-ish seasons ago.
About that.
But doing his own thing. We're going to talk to him about him doing his own thing.
Yeah,
and
Grant the Man.
Grant the Man, investigation.
Grant the Investigator.
Yeah, Grant the Investigator. Doing his own thing.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And one more time, go to www.vangiewilliams.com. Check out her books. Seriously, at least chapter 4. 4-itis.
Right, 4-itis. Buy the book. A signed copy on her website.
Yeah, there's signed copies. And, Amazon, Barnes & Noble,
Borders. Yeah.
Borders.
Yeah.
And her website.
Website. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm excited. Excited. And it's not just a 3 series, people. It is a 10 series.
10 book series.
She's got number 1. She's working on number 2.
Yep.
So we can start this from the beginning before it hits the bestsellers. Because it's going to happen.
Well, and keep in mind,
I mean, that's huge.
That's not just huge, but how she uses her ability to write these books. Like, everything she sees...
Everything that's in the book
a lot of things in the book is something that she has seen herself.
Because
and just kind of weaved a story.
Right. Touching an object.
Yeah.
So the stories just came together.
That's awesome.
And it's a romance for all you sappies and non-sappies like me.
I know.
But it's paranormal.
Yeah, it's a paranormally written book.
Right!
By a paragenealogist.
Lick and tag. Got that one.
All right, everybody. So, again, next week, the Pennhurst Paranormal Association. I'm excited too. All right, that's my cue for getting off. When I start getting tongue-tied, it's done.
We're out.
All right, everybody. So, next week, same time, same place. And remember, we are not alone.